Hello, welcome back to Casablanca. In this episode, I am covering The Polar Express, which is a 2004 Christmas movie directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Tom Hanks, Nona Gaye, and Jimmy Bennet. It is based on The Polar Express by Chris Van Allsburg. This is another Christmas classic, but it has kind of a reputation. I've always liked it. So it has kind of an uncanny valley thing going on for it. And while a lot of people don't like that, I don't mind it. It kind of adds to it. Like, it's not meant to be. They were going for a realistic feel for the movie. And I get that. But they were also not ever going to do that. Not at that time. I think now they might be able to do it, kind of, but now it does look kind of disturbing. But to me, I think it kind of adds to the film. Because it does have several creepy moments. It's not meant to be like fully wholesome, and so it's meant to have those creepy moments, and then the whole uncanny valleyness kind of adds to the creepiness in a good way. And so I've always loved this movie, and despite all the criticisms, everyone has the same things to say about it, like, oh, it has an uncanny valley and the people look so weird and it looks creepy. And yeah, another criticism I hear, and I don't know why people criticize this, is it's unrealistic. It's about a train that goes to the North Pole where Santa lives. It's not realistic. That, like, they're talking about like the tracks that go like really steep, and it's like a roller coaster, and it goes up and down and twists and turns and especially the scene where they're like on the ice, and like the train like derails and like slides around, and then they get it back on track, literally. I've heard a lot of people criticizing that. Like, that's so unrealistic. Yeah, there's the know-it-all kid, and you're acting like him. A train would never actually do that, you know. No, that's... Speaking of that kid, you know, nobody in here has names, except for Billy. Billy is like a loner kid. He's the only person in here who has a name, and Santa, of course. If you look on Wikipedia or on the credits, they're called like Hero Kid and like Hero Girl, and then like the Conductor, or like Hero Kid Sister or something. Like they don't have actual names. Like it's kind of weird, and I never noticed that until now. I'm like, for some reason I thought his name was Walter. I don't know, but the know-it-all kid is actually called Know-it-all Kid, and so that's kind of funny. But the funny thing about him, other than, you know, everything, is I had a coworker once who actually looked exactly like him, and it was eerie. And people would regularly be like, "You kind of look like that kid from the Polar Express," and he'd be like, "Yes, I know. People tell me that all the time." But he kind of thought it was funny. So, yeah. I never read the book. I probably should. Every time I watch this movie and it says based on the book, I'm like, I should probably read that. And I never do. And I don't know how many book to movie adaptations I watch, and then that pops up. I'm like, I need to watch that. I mean, I need to read that, and then I never do. This time I won't. I know I won't. I'll say I will, and then I won't. I'll have the intention to. I am fully intention to someday maybe read this book, possibly, and then never actually do it. I put it on my maybe list, and then forget the password, and yeah. Anyway, Polar Express is currently streaming on Hulu and Max. Like I said in the previous episode about Elf, this is other movie. I watched the two back to back. I watched them on Elf. Had to turn the volume up. You know, all of that. You've heard it, maybe. I don't know. I if this is all the episodes are standalone. This is like the first time ever in any of my podcasts that there is any kind of like overlap or like, hey, I'm referencing the previous episode. Hey, yeah, this is you're not going to get this reference unless you listen to the previous one. That's the first time. There's like all my episodes are standalone. Anyway, that being said, Polar Express is a classic. And I know I said Elf is like one of the best Christmas classics, but personally I like this one more. It just has more of that childlike nostalgia whimsy to it. Elf is, while it is like a really good movie, it just had like those. It's okay. So you know how I said that Polar Express is creepy. It's intended to be a little creepy, and then Uncanny Valley kind of adds to the creepiness thing. And those like the ghost, like the ghost on the train, like that's really creepy to me. And there's like moments in here that I always thought was a little weird. Elf has creepy moments that wasn't intended to be creepy and didn't age well. And so for well, not I was gonna say for that reason alone, but not for that reason alone. For that and many other reasons, I think Polar Express is the better of the two films. And again, it does go back to like the whole nostalgia thing and like the childlike wonder and whimsy, and it's talking about how like the hero, like the kid. I'm just gonna call him Walter because I thought he was Walter for some reason all these years, and I always thought his name was Walter. And then like you look at the credits and look at Wikipedia, it says Hero Kid. I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. So he doesn't believe in Santa. He wants to believe in Santa, but he doesn't. And there's several times in the movie where he's like, whenever he first gets on the Polar Express, and he sees like he sees Santa handing out toys to kids, like bending down and like looking at kids, waving at them. He's like, he gets excited, and then like the Santa turns and he sees like a cog in the back. It's like a robot. It's a very advanced robot, and he gives like the smirk, like yeah, that's fake. And he does that several times in the movie, and I always thought that was kind of interesting. It really shows like he never once actually says like I don't believe in Santa and I want to. He never says it. At least I don't think he does. I don't remember it. I was waiting for it and it didn't happen that I remember. But you know that by his facial expressions and the way he acts, and like the opening scene, it shows him looking like he has like an encyclopedia. He just wakes up in the middle of the night, around midnight, I think it says, and he just looks. He has like a encyclopedia in his room, and he chooses now to look it up. And yeah, it does kind of imply that the whole thing is a dream, but then at the same time, the way the movie ends, it's like, well, this is true. This is real. This is real. It's not a dream. So it's like, is it a dream? Is it real? I don't know. It's a movie. It's all fake. I'm gonna go the James Gunn route. Someone asked him about is the DCU canon with the DCEU, and what's canon, what's not canon, and he says, hey, it's all fiction. Whatever's canon was. I forget the way he said it. He said, I love what he said. I wish other people took this view. He said something like, it's whatever is canon is whatever you decide is canon, or whatever, something like that. And was the Polar Express a dream, or did it really happen? I don't know. It's left for interpretation. But again, that last scene shows that it kind of happened. I mean, obviously not in real life. Like in the context of the movie, was it a dream, or did it really happen? And I would lean more towards it was a dream. But then that last scene happens, and it's like, well, It just kind of contradicts itself though, because if it really happened, because like when he first wakes up and he like grabs his robe and he like yanks it off the bed post, the pocket rips, and that becomes a plot point later. And he goes on the Polar Express, goes through the adventure, and then he wakes up in his bed and he grabs his robe off the bedpost and the pocket rips. It's like, if it was a dream, that makes sense because the pocket wasn't ripped. And he ripped it in the dream. It wasn't ripped in real life. And then he ripped it for real. But then there's a thing that happens. He gets a gift. I don't want to spoil it. Because, like, I am kind of spoiling it because I talked about the pocket, but that's not, like, a major thing. And the fact that the character on the train as a ghost also might be a spoiler. I don't know. I'm not going to spoil the gift he gets Christmas morning. That's the one thing that I'm like, did it happen? I don't know. It doesn't really matter in the end. It's just a fun story. It's kind of like Inception, where it's like, did it happen? Is it a dream? Maybe. Even though in that case there is a definitive answer, Christopher Nolan knows it and he won't tell us. But, you know, if you've watched a bunch of YouTube videos on the subject, you know the answer. You know the answer. I think I saw something where they filmed like a definitive ending, but then they were like, yeah, let's not go this route. I think I didn't see a deleted scene. I didn't see Christopher Nolan say that. I heard someone say that that was a thing. So I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But anyway, back to not spoiling the Polar Express. I do really like this movie. I know I pointed that out. I just want to stress it again. This one should be watched every year. Preferably at night while it's cold, while you're bundled up, drinking hot chocolate. This is one of those kind of Christmas movies. One last thing before I end the episode. For some reason, I remembered Tom Hanks voicing all the characters. But then, like, when I watched it this time, like, I could have sworn he voiced the little kid, the main character, Hero Kid. I thought he voiced him. Just like, I thought they like pitched his voice up. Nope. The kid was voiced by Daryl Sabera, and apparently Josh Hutcherson did motion capture, which was really shocking considering that I didn't realize he was around. Like, I mean, I knew he was alive back then, but like, you know what I mean? He was really young, and he did motion capture for the main character on Polar Express. Tom Hanks did not voice everyone. Tom Hanks voiced the adult Hero Kid. He was the narrator basically. He voiced the father at the beginning. He voiced the conductor, the hobo, Santa Claus, and the Ebenezer Scrooge puppet. Which, granted, that is a lot of characters, but for some reason I thought he voiced every single character except for the hero girl, who is voiced by Nona Gaye. But yeah, should this get a sequel? This one should have a whole franchise based around that train, the different adventures it goes on, and you know, every year it's a different group of kids, and it gets into different shenanigans. And sometimes, like, the track's out, so they have to go a different route. I'm totally kidding. This should be a standalone. I heard people talking in another video once. They were like, "Yeah, the why isn't this gotten a sequel?" Because there's not a sequel book that I know of. And why would you make a sequel to this? It's a standalone story. And what they definitely don't need to do is do a live-action remake of this. It works perfectly fine as a motion capture movie. Yeah, it does have some uncanny valley issues, but we've addressed that already. It works in the movie's favor, in my opinion. I know a lot of people disagree, and again, I've addressed this. And finally, like I said, it is available to stream on Max and Hulu. And cut.